Last week, we spoke with Tara Imerson about women, physical activity, exercise in general, and we touched on some weight management strategies. And I remember a few years ago having a conversation with a colleague of mine about how weight maintenance, it was really tough as she aged, and she was premenopausal at the time. I'm really curious if you guys have noticed any changes in your weight maintenance as you age. Have you noticed that it is easier or tougher to maintain or lose or even gain weight? So, Dave, let's begin with you.
I'm going to do a throwback here. So the first time I remember my weight ever being discussed is when I played rep football in elementary school. And I was tall for my age, and I wasn't like the thinnest kid. So I was technically overweight for my age category. And a lot of the times when I was playing football, I had to do laps in a garbage bag, like wearing a garbage bag to try and cut weight because a weigh-in was going to be coming up. Like I was in grade 7. Like this is like looking back on it, I'm like, at the time I was like, I got to do this. I want to make the team. Looking back on it now, I'm like, that's the dumbest thing that anyone could do. Like just because I was 4 inches taller than most people, like why should my genetic makeup alter like all the I'm getting frustrated just saying it, but like I was in grade 7.
Oh my gosh, you were 12.
I was 12 years old running laps with a garbage bag like taped around my like upper body so I could try and cut weight because there was a weigh-in before we got to the tournament. Like that was the things that like legitimately happened at the age of 12. But then as I kept going, I would bulk up, and in high school, like, it doesn't matter what your age is. And like we had guys like a couple 100 pounds and they were huge. And we had kids in grade 9 who were playing against kids at the time in grade 13, because that was a thing back in the day. If you're younger, look it up, you'll figure it out later. But grade 13 was a real thing. And like we had kids in grade 9 playing against kids in grade 13. And that was like the difference between like a preteen and like a full grown man. And that was crazy. But throwing it like all the way to now, I have a little bit of a challenge with weight loss now, which is fine. But then it also has to do a lot with my type 1 diabetes, because sometimes if I'm trying to cut weight, you can usually do that with cardio and a combination of diet. But if my blood sugar drops at a class, and I need to bring that back with sugar. Sugar has calories. Calories lead to weight, and it's a weird circle, and it's a very difficult thing. And I know that there are some type 1s who are very successful at it, who can maintain very high muscle mass and a low body fat. I'm jealous, but right now it's something that I'm trying to figure out, because it's not something I don't want to do it to look a certain way, or because it's like, oh, I have like this chin, like that. To me, that doesn't matter. But I want to live the longest, healthiest life that I can. Like that's my goal, and that's been my diabetic goal for the longest time. Like I want no side effects as long as I can, and at the same time, I want to live the longest, healthiest life I can. So that's my plan to do it.
So for you, you're actually not interested in a number. You're just, and I'm putting words in your mouth. You're more interested into, I just want to live healthy.
It's a feeling for me. Like, I mean, we could, a couple of years ago, if I did Island Lake, we do 5K and I'd be like, okay, I'm done. Right. I like 2.5 out, 2.5 back. I'm like, I'm finished. But then like one time we were out there, and I remember Joe saying like, oh, we might as well just continue. Like we're halfway. And I was like, I don't think I can do it. Like mentally, I was like, I don't think I can do it. But then we did it, and I felt phenomenal. And I was like, I feel so great. And it's not like I had lost weight between the last time I did that walk and that time I did the walk, but it was like the feeling of like, it's accomplishment. I can do that. And the more that we hiked, the more challenging things. It's like Sleeping Giant was a hike that we did this year, which is not an easy one at all. And I didn't run it, and we didn't like run up the side of the cliff, but did it in a way where at the end of it, like I felt decent. And I was like, wow, like this is the kind of stuff that I'm able to do now. And I don't think I've really lost a ton of weight, but I just feel like I can accomplish more. And to me, the feeling is more important than any number on a scale.
Interesting. How do you like, do you measure it at all? Do you go by your clothes? Do you be like, okay, well, the notch in the belt has moved, or again, it's not on the radar for you?
Um, well, yeah, because I mean, the more hiking that we're doing, like I guess like my thighs have gotten a little bit bigger and there's a little bit more in the booty. Like, okay, that's right, it happened. But it's like trying on my jeans, I'm like, ooh, this tighter in the tushy. Hello. And to me, like that's cool because I mean, like I'm gaining muscle, right? And I think the hardest, Joe's laughing in the background. The best part for me is like I don't think the number is, because I think the number a lot of times can be skewed. If you just write a number on a piece of paper, all it is three numbers. Most people are three numbers on a piece of paper. And it shows nothing of, so like my 260 and someone else's 260 can be very, very different. If someone has a large muscle mass, then their 260 is phenomenal. Like, yeah, look at you go, like you're jacked. But then someone else who's maybe like 5'1" and 260, that might be different. Like there could be some health issues in there. And I think that we need to get past the idea of numbers matter more and getting that feeling or the ability, because even if you look at athletes, they come in all shape and sizes. And I mean, a lineman on a football team versus a running back are built very differently. They're still both athletes, but like, and they weigh significantly different, but they have a job to do and their job requires their body to be a certain way.
I love that you said that, because Michael Jordan is notorious for being 300 pounds,
Yeah.
right? And he's a phenomenal athlete. But he would have been considered obese, even though he's a tall guy. But like athletes just don't fit into that number. I really like how you've not embraced the number, that it's just three kind of numbers, or two, depending upon if you look at the metric system.
Yeah.
Just how about you as you age? Have you noticed difficulty in that weight maintenance? Or I guess the question is, do you care?
I definitely, yes to both. Yes to both. And I say like as we age, I'm 31, and I've had one child. I've had a cesarean section, and that has made a gigantic difference in how I lose weight. I yo-yo. I think I'm the queen of yo-yo diets. Not diets, I don't want to say that word because I still say that I'm not really sticking to a diet. It's just kind of more of a lifestyle change, but queen of yo-yo on the scale. And I find, it's a lot has to do with when I decide to jump back on the bandwagon, and then when I lose focus of the goal and what my healthy lifestyle choices are. Like everyone kind of sway a little bit. But yes, definitely as I'm getting older, I'm finding, back in college, if I wanted to lose 10 pounds, I would go to the gym for a couple of weeks and I would lose 10 pounds. Now, if I want to lose 5 pounds, it takes like 3 months. Or, I could gain 5 pounds in a day. Like it's it's a struggle. But yeah, it's my metabolism sucks. And I find as I'm aging, it's getting more and more challenging to kind of stay on track with that. But I'm somewhat in the same boat as Dave, where I don't get upset when I see the numbers on the scale, because at the end of the day, it comes down to how you feel. And to me, like I've said over and over again throughout this podcast, that it's, I'm not sticking to a specific number. And that's why I'm not going through the lifestyle changes that I'm going through. It's to feel better, and to live longer. And to me, that doesn't matter if it's, if the scale says 150 or if it says 160, as long as I feel healthy. But I do remember back like in high school, like Dave, you mentioned the first time you really thought of your weight. I remember I was in like science class or something, and the girl beside me was like, wow, you have really skinny arms. I'm like, I do? But she did not mean it like a compliment.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, I guess I'm a twig. Okay. Now I definitely do not have skinny arms. Um, but yeah, I think as a society, a lot of people are really hard on themselves when it comes to a weight number. And for me, I'm really trying not to stick to that number. It's just an overall lifestyle feel. But yeah, there's definitely photos when I'm looking back through Facebook and I'm like, oh, remember when I thought I was big then? And then you get pregnant and you really get large.
And I think it's really different for women and men. In fact, I know it's different. And that's why I brought up this kind of conversation. My husband hasn't been able to run because he's injured. And I guess I'm not allowed to say this number. I don't know. I don't know if he cares. He gained quite a bit of weight, but he carries it well. Anyways, he decided to lose the weight. So he eats 3 meals a day. And lo and behold, he's dropped like 15 pounds, like bang, like that. Versus me, that I've given up trying to come up with that magic number, because I find the older I get, the more my body just wants to stay at that certain weight, and it doesn't matter what I do. And if I try and lose weight, like if I put concerted effort and step on the scale every day and count the calories, it's like I crave it more, and then you see it inch maybe down, and then you have a day where it goes back up again. And so for me, because I am premenopausal, I think, my friend who said that, because I kind of went on a little bit of a competition and thinking that it's not that hard, because I started and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is for me almost impossible to lose weight. And I think this is part of the evolution of growing older. I had to come to terms with that magic 140-pound number. It's a magic number that means nothing in the big scheme of things. And I am who I am. And much like you guys, I wish I had come to this knowledge much sooner. But living healthy and feeling good is really where I'm at. And yeah, I'm glad you guys said that, because I just kind of wanted to know where you guys were at that aging kind of thing. If you've noticed a difference with regards to the whole number thing. And quite frankly, I'm quite happy that you're saying it kind of doesn't matter in the big scheme of things. So
yeah. For me, it's all about those non-scale, like the non-scale victories, right? Like the fact that, the scale might change, but the pants fit better now. And yeah, that's where I'm at.
That's awesome. So until next time,
we'll talk food.
And we'll talk fitness.
And we'll do it together.